But First National's Clutha Southland MP Todd Barclay. Mr Barclay has made statements today which directly contradict his boss, the Prime Minister Bill English, about a secret recording of electorate office staff. In a statement to the police, Mr English said Todd Barclay had told him he had recordings of Glenys Dixon criticising him. And in a text message obtained by Newsroom, Mr English said, quote, he left a dictaphone running that picked up all conversations in the office. But as recently as this morning, Todd Barclay was refuting any allegation that he'd recorded his staff and also saying he did not talk to Mr English about it. Here's our Deputy Political Editor, Chris Bramwell.
Early last year it emerged that two of Todd Barclay's electorate staff had resigned along with his electorate chair. At the time, the then Prime Minister John Key and his deputy Bill English said they had no concerns about the resignations, saying there was often a changeover in staff with a new MP. But it later became clear that one of his electorate agents, Glenys Dixon, had laid a complaint with the police, claiming Todd Barclay had secretly recorded her in the office. This morning, the news website Newsroom revealed text messages between Bill English and the former electorate chair, Stuart Davey, in which Mr English stated a dictaphone had been left running in Mr Barclay's office that picked up all the conversations. The text message went on to say the settlement paid to Glenys Dixon was larger than normal because of the privacy breach. This morning, Mr English told reporters that statement was based on second-hand information.
So I was relaying what I had heard, and I can't recall where that came from or what all the... This is now a couple of years ago.
Meanwhile, just metres away from the media stand-up with Mr English, Todd Barclay was also being questioned by reporters.
Obviously I've seen the allegations. Again, there's nothing new than what's already been out there. I'm happy to answer any questions to the best that I can, but there is an employment confidentiality agreement which will obviously prevent me from saying some things.
Has that represented the situation honestly in terms of secret recordings?
Yes.
So, John, you didn't make any secret recordings?
No, I mean, as I say, I've seen the allegations that have been made by Mrs Dixon, and the police have investigated quite thoroughly, obviously. I've gone through quite a robust local transparent process too, which was my reselection, which I won quite convincingly. So, my people and supporters down there clearly see it for what it is.
Did you use the dictaphone to record one of your staff members?
Look, I've seen the allegations and I totally refute them.
So, to sum this morning up, Bill English said he'd only heard second-hand about the allegations and Todd Barclay outright rejected them. However, just a couple of hours later, Mr English made another statement to media on his way into Parliament.
So as a result of the questions this morning, I said that I had made a statement to the police and I'd go back and check it. I've gone back and checked that statement, which was given in March or April last year. And in that statement I said to the police that Todd Barclay had told me that he had recordings of his staff criticising him.
Mr English was asked whether he'd been misled by Todd Barclay.
It's a matter for him to account for his statements. I'm telling you what my statement was, and the statement I made was to the police, who then had the opportunity to investigate all aspects of the allegations.
As Prime Minister, Bill English cannot technically force Mr Barclay to resign as an electorate MP, but he will be facing serious questions about today's revelations, his political future, and the pressure that's come to bear on Mr English as a result. Glenys Dixon refused to comment when RNZ visited her home today, and Stuart Davey could not be reached for comment. But RNZ asked people in Gore what they thought should happen to Mr Barclay.
And certainly not on money being paid to as hush money, basically. No.
Do you think he should stand down, or is it not?
I do think so. We do need MPs that we can trust.
No, I don't think it's good enough. He should be disciplined, at the end of the day, we live in a democracy. It's got to be proved, and if he's proved, out he goes. See ya.
I think it was obvious from the timing of what was going on when there was another election all around the whole of the electorate, that he was aware that he had done wrong. They had two very good people up there working in the office, excellent. And I think that they lost their jobs unfairly, because it sounds, from what I'm reading, that he was very, dishonest.
The police say they closed the case as they had insufficient evidence to prosecute Mr Barclay, who did not cooperate with the investigation. Todd Barclay is not returning RNZ's calls this afternoon and avoided media after question time. Atu i te whare pārimata mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Chris Bramwell.
Prime Minister Bill English was unavailable for a checkpoint interview today. The invitation stands. Todd Barclay wasn't picking up his phone and hasn't responded to our repeated messages. The invitation to be interviewed stands. National Party President Peter Goodfellow promised to ring us back. We're still waiting for the call. We'd love to receive it. Mr Goodfellow, we asked police for an interview over their decision to not obtain warrants or proceed with the prosecution of Mr Barclay. They too declined. And the Labour candidate for Clutha Southland, Sri Chapman, declined to comment, saying she's focused on running a positive campaign to change the government. We would love to talk to Prime Minister Bill English, Todd Barclay or National Party President Peter Goodfellow. Our phones are standing by.